Hello, welcome. Confidence Through Cabaret here. I'm Heather,
And I'm Ryan.
and we are so excited to have Confidence with Coffee introducing another podcast. So, what's your drink today?
Oh, my drink is a very berry smoothie that I made myself. Thank you very much.
That looks like vanilla and Oreos.
I know. So it does look pinker in real life, but the lighting is not helping it. So it looks a little bit more gray. But I also made it about 15, 20 minutes ago. So it has that cut, it goes from really super pink to then it kind of differences. You know what I mean? What are you drinking?
I'm just drinking coffee, but I'm also drinking flavored water because I cannot get enough water in right now.
Right.
So this is sparkling spring water with fruit juice, and it has 12 calories. So there's no sugar in this.
Right.
But I need water or fluid, and I need some sort of natural energy. So that's what I'm doing, and that's actually a perfect lead into our guest today, which is do you see what I did there? Seamless.
I did. Seamless segue.
This is all about energy because we hosted the amazing Betty Wang, and she is sharing with us her Feng Shui practice and so much more.
Oh, honestly, yeah, this was a really informative podcast. Everything from, discussing the definitions of Feng Shui from a classical practice to contemporary, as well as, various different interpretations and a whole bunch of stuff that you can do at home as well. Like there was loads of practical instruction within this. It was really fascinating.
I loved the structural stuff.
Oh,
if you're watching Betty, we are facing slightly different. I'm facing a different angle.
Yeah,
Ryan at the other end of his desk. So we were following the advice of your approach. So thank you.
That's great.
I think anything that informs energy and wellness and flow is just such a wonderful, worthwhile topic to get into.
Yeah.
And I think, Betty has Feng Shui Canary, and I've already had a look in the few minutes since we filmed the podcast. And there's tons of stuff on Instagram all about it. And I'm running around my house with my compass and my phone, my Instagram, so that I can follow Betty's instructions. I love it.
No, this was really interesting. And as I say, covered a lot of bases in the podcast. One of the things that I thought was really interesting, we've got a clip for this, was how Betty talked, and this kind of came in a couple of times, how she had taken Feng Shui as a practice and then learned how to employ that within her own sort of confidence practice for herself, and how that helped her develop that energy and push that forward and learn to live her life on her own terms, which I just thought I just think it's a really poignant thing.
It's very aligned to us at Confidence Through Cabaret as well, isn't it? Because it's that bit about finding what it is that works for you and finding the people or the master that enables you to really delve into it, so that you can be aligned and live that.
Yeah. I mean, let's roll the clip. Should we roll the clip?
When I finally met my master and did my studies under her, she basically blew the lid open and was like, this is just one piece of the much, much broader picture, that it's really difficult to convey that message in social media or in a very short blurb that easily digestible for people. So it just over time evolved into this that's all Feng Shui is.
Right.
And it was very disheartening to learn that in the beginning, but also really, really exciting. So as I dug more into it, I was just like, I love this. That's where my confidence come through, where it's so easy for me to do this. I can walk into a space and tell you, I can point out all the structural issues because it's just second nature to me, and that's when I sort of decided that I've got to do something that I'm good at and also easy for me, and not struggle to make myself live up to someone else's expectation.
Okay, so that was Betty Wang talking about her feng shui practice and how it has informed her confidence. And I've got to say, I think that this was a really interesting moment within the Confidence Through Cabaret podcast, because I think the specifics of what Betty was talking about there are really, as we said earlier, are really aligned. But I think it's really poignant that, you know, as Betty says, when she invested her time into something that she knew that she really enjoyed and loved and came easy to her, and not that she didn't have to work, but like, you know, that this was something that she felt passionate about and was able to work with. Um, and it just kind of that immediately informed her confidence. And I think that's really, really important.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And I think, the materials and the methods that Betty takes us through really informs, health in so many ways,
Mm.
not only as modeling the way in her own life, but also in terms of some of the practical things that we can do to
Mm.
enjoy more, let's say, success, whatever
Yeah.
that is for you, but also actual literal health, and things are so combined. They're not, physical health is not different, or is not compartmentalized totally away from mental health, or in terms of, energy or flow in your life, or alignment, or, all of those things, not by accident, come together.
Mm-hmm.
And I love this ancient practice that Betty has studied and shares in, with anyone online. I mean, it's not even just, you don't have to just live in New York and she'll come to your home. She'll actually work with you online. That's
Yeah, yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, and as you say, it's like there's that. I think within this, it was really fascinating because you can see how much of a breadth and depth of knowledge that Betty has about this practice, and it's this is not what you could call it like a skin deep practice. This is something that is deeply invested in a whole set of really specific notions and specific calculations and ideas about how energy flows and moves throughout our homes and our lives, and how time plays a role in that, which was, again, that was a whole other thing, because I didn't know that time played a role within feng shui as well. I thought that was really interesting to find out about, because I had an idea of it just being specific to the layout of a space, whereas that's not that's an element of it. It is not the full picture. And I think the fact that Betty's been able to harness all of that stuff and then turn that as well into part of her own confidence practice, which has then informed loads of other people's experience, I think it's just a side of a really skilled person at what they do.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I think what struck me the most was that I had some very basic understanding of, kind of I'm going to say the static. This isn't Betty's terms, but the kind of the principles in Feng Shui. But this was a little bit, more around the flow and the movement and how it changes. And I love how she explains that so clearly and simply, that it changes from year to year. I thought if you feng shuied your place, let's say, and I'm sure it's not a verb, but sorry, but if you followed the principles of feng shui, and what Betty explains is, that's kind of the Western way of doing it, is you set up everything and then you're done.
Yeah.
And then that's all we want, right? And then we have shortcuts and it happens fast and easy. But actually, it's a practice like any of the other practices that we would talk about.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And that practice takes commitment. That practice requires follow through. That practice requires so much dedication and commitment to it. And it's, I think this is a really interesting episode, and I implore all of you to go and listen immediately on Podbean or wherever you get your podcasts, and also to visit fengshuicanary.com, also Feng Shui Canary on Instagram as well, and actually, yeah.
Betty has given us a link that so you can follow along with some of the principles and go through your house and make sure that you're following the principles that will help and enable your flow of energy.
Absolutely.
Check us out on all the socials as Confidence Through Cabaret. Go to confidencethroughcabaret.com because there'll be a video version of the podcast that will be put up shortly after the audio version. You'll find all of our podcast blogs, as well as some amazing masterclasses for you to check out as well. The only ones that are not the Confidence Through Cabaret brand, or as in name, is Twitter, which is at YBYWYS. Clubhouse, I am anyway, at Heather YBYWYS. We also have a brand new club, which is Confidence and Attitudes. So we are on there on a regular basis with various moderators who are informing confidence as well. So hit me up on there, send us messages. But Ryan, would you like to tell us what the YB, YW, and YS
Why? Yes, I would. That stands for your body.
Your body.
Your world. Your stage. Thank you so much
for joining us.
Bye.
Bye.